Hi, this is Jay with Jay Prior Consulting. Thanks again for joining me. Let's talk about misgendering today. So, if you misgender someone, this is when someone has either they have or have not come out to you, right? It's a more egregious crime if they have come out to you, right? And so you know that this person goes by, for example, if I go by they, them pronouns, and I tell you that. So my name is Jay, and I go by they, them pronouns. And then within a few minutes later, you're referring to me, and you say he or him, right? That technically is misgendering. Now, have been out a long time, and I go with people's intent. So I am not offended by that, right? That's just something that I have learned to support people around and help people with. But I want you to know that for a trans person to be misgendered is, especially in the beginning, is a pretty sensitive spot. So, when I was coming up, my friends and I would call it being she'd, right? Because we were transitioning from female to male. So our goal at the time was to pass as men, right? And so if we had someone she us, that meant, and that's what we would call it, we'd been she'd. And I remember, times when my friends and I were getting together and someone would come in and they were in a huff or something and we'd be like, what's going on? And they'd say, I just got she'd, right? So that meant that someone had referred to them as a she and they were trying to pass. And so it was always an issue. Now, the most important issue here is a safety issue, right? This is why and especially when I was coming up, right? Because here we are out in the world trying to pass and then someone calls us a woman. And then, it becomes obvious to everyone who's standing around us that we are a woman, passing as a man, right? Which can be dangerous for us. And so the bottom line of misgendering is about understanding that it's about safety, right? If you can get that it's about safety, then you can give up being right or being mad at them because they're upset, right? Because we really look at this like a safety issue, and it really sets off that, see, I can feel it coming up in me, that level of hypervigilance that we have as trans people, because some of this you got to get is survival, right? There's enough statistics and enough trans people who are brutally murdered on a regular basis that we do not want to play with this and get misgendered in public. So, and for our purposes for work, right? This is a work video. HR, right, takes care of names and those kind of things. When it comes to pronouns, if people are changing, it's going to take practice. And part of what we do is when we're working with companies is to have them create a culture where people, both the people who are transitioning and the people who are working with them, all get on the same page. So if there is some misgendering, we know it's only done very rarely and by accident, and it's not a safety issue because everybody's on the same page and we know this person is safe, right, in your business, in your company. That's one of the reasons we call our process creating a safe learning culture, because you have to create safe spaces both for the trans person or the gender nonconforming person, right? They have to be safe and feel like it's okay to be themselves. And then it also needs to be safe for the employees who are working around them to screw up, right? Because you're going to screw up. Like, this is all new to people, and so you're going to screw up. So that's the term misgendering. Essentially means you have missed the mark. You have called somebody the wrong pronoun. And again, if I'm standing in front of you looking like this and I tell you to call me she, it's not going to come as easy. Even they, them is going to be easier, for some of you maybe, than to call me she, right? But you're going to run into people who look just as masculine as this and want to be called by she, right? So we have to remember that the look of a person does not dictate their gender identity, right? Gender identity and gender expression are two very different things. We'll cover this over and over. Right? They're very different things, and it's important this is why we want to create a safe learning culture inside your companies where it's safe for the gender nonconforming people, but it's also safe for the other employees to have a little leeway to be learning this stuff and flexing their muscle and allowed to kind of screw up here and there. So, hope that makes sense, and I hope I brought a new light to the word misgendering. Some of you may have been hearing that, and now you know what it means. So, thanks again for joining me. Remember, again, if you have any questions or if there's any way that we can serve you, please just get in touch with us. All right, have a great day.